Hey, welcome back to A Faster Me. Shout out to Jack Rue, our apparel company of choice for cycling. Jack Rue has great kits, great custom design, and definitely a speedy turnaround. So this is the women's P123 race over at the Major Motion King and Queen of Crits. This is the Queen of Crits race, and yeah, it's a good race. Super stacked field, especially for some of our local races here, and it's pretty deep. I don't know the exact number, but I think there was roughly 30 women in the race. Um, yeah, roughly 30 women, if I'm not mistaken. And for A Faster Me, we have 5 women in the field. So we have Marlena, Elisa, Anastasia, Felicia, and Morgan. If you've been watching our channel at all or follow our team, yeah, you know all those women. Um, but yeah, this is a good field, good test for us. We're only in our second year. This is our first year fielding like a full P123 team. So yeah, things are going well. We have 1 win under our belt already this year, a couple podiums. Um, so yeah, this is going to be a good test. Got the mommies in here with a decent squad. I think they have 6 or 7 riders as well. You have Holly from Go Fast, Colleen Gulick. You have 2 riders from LABA with Alexa and Camilla. Both of them are really strong. Got Legion with Kendall Ryan, Laurel, and Lori, and a couple other people that I'm not really familiar with that are also really strong. I think Joyce might be in here as well. Yeah, anyway, there's a bunch of strong ladies in this field. I'm rolling solo tonight on the mic. Yeah, that might annoy some of you. But it's a long race, so I probably will have moments of silence. You won't have to hear my voice the entire time. But yeah, it's a great race, really hot, good pace. I think they averaged about 24.5 or so miles per hour. This is a fast flowing course, and that was basically 1 lap there. There's really nothing technical on the course whatsoever. And for the most part, there's 2 turns. That was Elisa's camera that we started off with, and now this is Marlena's camera. But there's really only 2 turns on this course. Turn 1 here is kind of like half a turn. It's pretty wide open. It's just a little bit of a kink here. Depending on how tight you are, like the women here, how tight they are, it turns into a little bit more of a turn because they hug the inside. I did the 50-plus race earlier in the day, and the way we take it is we're a little bit wider, and it just turns into a straightaway, basically. It just turns into a kink. You take the wide approach and just kind of cut straight across the apex there, and it's just a kink. Same with this turn here. That's one of the few turns. It's almost 90 degrees. Yeah. So it plays as a turn sometime, depending on how you approach it. And then turn 3 coming up is just a fast kink. So you see there's a little move here. I think that's Anastasia that went off the front, just trying to keep the speed kind of fast. That was one of her jobs for the day, is just kind of roll off the front anytime things slow down. So, and this is turn 3 here. So yeah, turn 3 is really just a little kink. It's not anything. It has like the longest apex you'll ever see. But yeah, it's just a little kink, nothing special. And then turn 4 coming up. Turn 4 is going to be the tightest turn basically on the course, but the road's really wide, so it's nothing either. It's just, your typical like 90-degree turn. In theory, it actually kind of turns back to the right a little bit, but like I said, if you look to the left, it's so wide, you can take almost any line you want here. So yeah, the speed's up pretty good right here on just lap 2. There's going to be a lot of attacks throughout the day. With the mommies on, participating in some of those attacks. You got Laurel participating in some of those attacks. And I think Holly's going to go once or twice also. And again, it's a long race, so I probably won't talk all the way through it unless I have something to say. Forgot you got Jade right there too, from Major Motion. I think we had Jade, Summer, and Jules in there from Major Motion as well. Gotta give them a shout out because obviously it's their crit. They're the home team here. And I think honestly, this is their first year having like a P123 team. I know they raced it before and they raced it last year, but I think it's the first year of having like girls that basically race this field and not like girls that are on the fence or just moving up this year. So yeah, I was really looking forward to this race, as was many other people. This is, like I said, the first race of the year was is a good sized field. Maybe, I don't know, 25 people in the first race at CBR, but this is like the first race that everybody was kind of anticipating, and a lot of the stronger women showed up too. A lot of teams, or a lot more people with teams. So we're kind of the two biggest teams in here with in cycle and our team. I think we have 6 or 7, and then we have 5. But I don't think that's what's important necessarily. It's just a really strong field with a lot of talented riders in it. And there's some big races coming up, like Valley of the Sun in 2 weeks, and Tucson. I'm sorry, not Tulsa. Tucson also the week after. So this is good prep for anyone that's going to race some of those deeper fields. All right, so we move back to Elisa's camera here. If there's no watts being displayed, that's Elisa's camera. For whatever reason, I couldn't get her power profile to load, her data file to load here. So I think this might be, no, it's not this lap. In a couple laps, I think Jay's going to make like an incredible save coming into turn 1. Obviously, I'll try to point it out when I see it. Hopefully we didn't miss it already, but I don't think so. Yeah, it's interesting too. I need to do some pre-race interviews for some of the ladies and just see how the race played out compared to how everyone thought it would play out. You see Morgan moving up on the left side there. Morgan's one of the newer additions to our team, a great addition to our team, and I think she's going to have a good year as well. But yeah, I love to hear how people kind of thought the race would play out, if they thought it would be a breakaway, who was going to be doing the breakaways, or if they thought it would come down to a bunch sprint. And even preparing for this race, I had a couple theories as well. Obviously, a breakaway can always happen with a strong field like this. But at the same time, because the course is so fast and flowing, I really didn't think a solo break or a smaller break would get away. I thought, maybe a group of 5 or something would get off the front, maybe 5 or 6. And I think I've said this many times, but unfortunately when I'm doing a voiceover, like I cannot hear the actual race. So sometimes I don't know what's going on as far as laps and things like that. So I won't be able to know like exactly what lap we're on, or if it's a preem or not, stuff like that. That's Alexa in front of Elisa right here. Alexa rode for our team last year, kind of by way of LABA. And then, of course, she's on LABA full-time this year. So, yeah, there's a little break there. Someone trying to get off the front now. 2 riders just off the front a little bit. And, again, I don't know if this is a preem or if it's really just someone trying to establish a break. I see Morgan up there putting in a little effort, a couple people trying to chase it. I believe that's Shawnee right here in the kit in front of us. Yeah, it looks like it was one of the mommies setting the pace up front. Yeah, no, and my apologies. If I sound a little lethargic, it's kind of late right now, but yeah, I just don't put out the videos with the sound if I don't have a chance to really go through it and make sure everything's appropriate. I don't want to. I'm not really trying to like get somebody caught out saying something on camera that, in the heat of the moment or whatever the case may be. So I don't want to show anyone in that type of light, when it's out of context. So yeah, if I don't have a chance to completely listen to the video, I'm gonna do a voiceover and lower the sound just out of respect for all the riders. So I think right there is the moment where Jade saves it. If you saw that, I don't know for sure if they made contact or not, but obviously, the outside rider turned to the right, and there was either a wheel touch or maybe she thought it was going to be a wheel touch. But either way, great save. That definitely is not easy to do when your bike goes sideways like that. Obviously, she had to hit her brakes. But this is kind of a critical thing, though, here, because as you can see, that little hiccup right there happened at the time that someone's attacking off the front. And Elisa almost gets caught out on it. I can't see her power, but you can tell everybody has to put a hard effort just to kind of get back attached here. It's really strung out. I'm going to show you Marlena in a second because Marlena got caught out on that as well. And she's like way back putting in a big dig for, another lap and a half or whatever to get reattached. I don't even recall this happening in the race or whatever. I was like, what are you doing back there? Like, you literally almost got dropped. But she puts in a great effort and just runs it all back down. And you can tell the peloton's moving. It's stretched out. So definitely in a field like this, it's really easy to get caught out. And I think some good riders got caught out too. There were a bunch of people who dropped early. I don't know, maybe like 8 people dropped within the first 15 minutes of this race, and it's because, like you see, they're going 31 miles per hour up the front, which was a little bit of a headwind, and you can see they're really struggling not to get detached here because they know if that peloton gets away, it's really hard to run it back down. So I believe that's Lori right here from Legion putting in an effort, and you can see they're just still doing 29 and not really making up a lot of ground on the peloton here. So yeah, a lot of people kind of got caught out with this move right here, and it just burned a bunch of matches. And it's a big effort. I can't tell from Elisa's power, obviously, but you'll see when I flip it to Marlena's screen, and you'll see she's putting in a pretty big effort to run all this back down. So yeah, there's a group of four or five girls off the front right now, and I'm not sure exactly who's in it. I think the mommies were really active early. So yeah, here's that same sequence right here from Marlena's angle or point of view. And you can see again how strung out it is. So it's just going to be one lap of her trying to catch back up as well. And you can see that's Emmy. I think that was Emmy and I can't think of her name right now. Anyway, I can't think of her name from the mommies, but I think they end up getting caught out right there. And not being able to get attached back on. So yeah, it looks like Marlena's back, right? But it's so stretched out. And then, she settles in the draft here behind Jessica for a second. And then she's like, oh, wait, there's gaps in between there. So then she has to go around or make it through and try to catch back up to the peloton, which is something just to be cautious of, when you come up and you're when it's strung out like this, you really got to have your eyes forward and make sure that there's not gaps in between. Because you can be drafting someone and still get caught out, thinking that you're attached to the peloton, and there's 3-4 riders in front of you that are getting gapped off as well. And again, Marlena's doing 31 up the front straight into a slight headwind. You can see Jules right here trying to stay attached right here to, I think that might be Maria. And yeah, it's just a big effort early in the race. Like I said, we're 15 minutes in, and, a number of people got caught out on this little move here. So yeah, good job here. I think too. I'm not sure if it was here or maybe a little later. I think Anastasia got caught out as well. She had went to the front to set some pace. That was one of her jobs today, was just kind of roll through and not let it get too slow. And then of course the attack comes right after she does her pull. That little incident in the corner there kind of slowed people down for just a second, and then yeah, it just got hot, and that's kind of all she wrote. So she worked with a bunch of people for the rest of the race. And yeah, that was it. They never got reattached again. So yeah, this is a bad spot here when you think you're reattached and you just kind of don't finish the job. You got to kind of give that little couple second more effort and just like not just get right to the back of the peloton, but move up and kind of get tucked in. Because as you see, it accelerated again, and now you're kind of in that same boat. So yeah, I think that might be Rosalind in front of us in the black. Forgive me if I'm wrong. But yeah, the pace is starting to settle a little bit. 26, 27, still pretty fast, but obviously they were just going a lot faster the lap before. You see Felicia up there just in front of Rosalind here. And yeah, we definitely have too many girls near the tail end of this right now. I think just Morgan's up towards the front right now. Here on this side too, there's a slight cross tailwind here, so you get a little bit of relief here on the backside. Definitely through most of the day, the front side was a slight headwind, and as it got later in the day, it got a little stiffer. So yeah, I think that was Laurel up there this time setting the pace. I can't remember for sure. Obviously I didn't have the front of the peloton, but just going off of memory from when I was there at the race. So yeah, Marlena just caught back up and decides to launch an attack here, which is a great job. If you're tired, everybody else is. She's probably a little more tired than everyone else, and she had to chase back on, but still, a great job of just not letting people settle, get it fast, or at least faster. Yeah, so that was a great job of just chasing, rolling back on, and then setting a little counter attack there. She's not really trying to get off the front solo or anything, but it's still just a good effort and keep people on their toes a little bit. Yeah, it's definitely see a good turnout for the races, good crowd. Most of us are just racing, but good to see all the folks come out from the East Coast also, and different parts of the country, for the all clubs events. I haven't made it out there yet. I live far, so I don't typically go to too many of the LA events, but obviously I got to get out there sooner or later. So Holly came up and gave a little dig. Marlena was on her wheel. She kind of looked back and saw everybody's there, so she just sat up. This is obviously a little too slow here. Anytime it gets slow like this, someone's going to attack, and rightfully so. I've said this in many of these videos, but when it gets down to 20, under 20, those are some hard attacks to cover, because the snap, if someone gets a good snap, that separation gets there pretty hard, and next thing you know, you have to do an anaerobic effort. So as much as possible, you don't want the speed to get down to the low 20s or under 20 for sure. So yeah, Marlena kind of started this second break here, so obviously she's not going to be putting in too hard of an effort here, just pulling the peloton around, but definitely still want to keep the speed over 20 miles per hour for sure. So yeah, a couple mommies come through, kind of setting the pace a little bit here. I don't know if there's going to attack or not, but Shawnee ends up attacking. See Felicia trying to get in the mix, cover this instead of she knows that Marlena was just at the front covering, so just kind of a little tag team there, handoff. Then Morgan and Laurel come through. Or Morgan and Kendall. That might be Kendall. So yeah, once again, got the pace hot. Back up to the high 20s. So yeah, we got 2 girls up there, so not too threatening for us on this one. But yeah, definitely hot pace, hard race. There's Camila right there from LABA. I just switched back over to Lisa's camera just because I think she was more closer to the front, so I want to see what's going on in the front here. I'll be switching back and forth just throughout the race. Unfortunately, Lisa's camera, it drops later in the race, so her footage is only good for like the first half of the race. So yeah, there's a group getting off the front, and Lisa tries to bridge to it, or puts in a little big to try to bridge to it. And then Camilla comes through. And we're all back together again. Yeah, this is a little different. It wasn't on, this isn't on theday.net. The scoring wasn't on theday.net. So I don't have a roster with everyone's numbers or anything on it. So I apologize to the writers that I haven't mentioned and don't know. So yeah, switch back to Marlena's camera. I think she's going to do a little bit more attacking and pace setting here. Not real attacks, but just kind of monitoring the front of the peloton. Put in a good effort here, though, just keeping the speed high. So yeah, definitely another lull in the action. You know, like every race kind of has a pattern to it, and for the most part, it has a pattern. I mean, it's not exact, but after you do so many laps, and we're 24 minutes in, 23 minutes in to this video, so that's a good 10 laps, 12 laps in. You pretty much get accustomed to where people are going to attack, where they're going to attack, when where it's going to slow down at, where you need to kind of be on your toes, and where you may get a little recovery. Because usually it's a little pattern, and even if it's subconscious, people kind of get locked into that pattern, and like the same attacks and counter attacks come at about the same spot every time. Sometimes it's because that's how the course sets up for it, and sometimes it's just like a rhythm that gets established in the first couple laps, and everyone just kind of subconsciously sticks to that rhythm. So yeah, just a combination of strategy and kind of habit. So there's Holly launches an attack there. It's covered pretty well. There wasn't like real separation there, but it just definitely got the pace high and got everything stretched out again. Yeah, this would have been a good chance to counterattack there. Oh, you know what? I don't know. I think that might be Charity there to the right. I didn't notice because I forgot about the new Evoke kits. But yeah, I think that's Charity Chia there. Another well, established, experienced racer. There's Holly again launching another attack here. Let's see, Camilla covers it pretty quickly. So yeah, Holly tried to get off, a couple of times. I think one time she did get some separation and she was out solo for a little while. I think Elisa's trying to tuck in a little bit here, but there was a rider next to her just trying to get in the draft. She was out in the wind a little bit. And I don't know the young lady's name there in the scratch kit. She was really strong as well, had a great race. And there's Marlena launching an attack over on the left. Like I said, anytime this speed gets slow, someone's going to attack, and rightfully so. Yeah, I thought for a while that this was setting up pretty good for Colleen race because she was pretty quiet through most of the middle of the race and stuff. And I was just thinking if it comes down to a sprint, it's setting up pretty good for her. Yeah, Marlena is definitely doing a lot of work early in this race. Or, like not early, but in the middle of this race here. We had a little narrowing of the barriers there, which obviously has to happen just so you can get through the start finish, banister and all that. In the 50 plus, we had a little incident in our race in one of the cones. Just, the peloton's really big and blocking the cones, and someone moves out of the way, then the next person hits the cone. So that's just something to be cautious of, especially if there's a barrier there. Try to signal if you can. Cones aren't as big of a deal just because they're lightweight and, you can kind of stay up if you hit a cone. But if you hit that fence, most likely you're not going to stay up. So Elisa kind of comes under Marlena there and asks her to let her in. It's a good thing about having teammates. Sometimes you can just slot back in a little easier. Don't have to fight someone for a wheel or, struggle to get position. It's funny. This is our second year of having this team. We were part of PAA before that, and we broke off last year and started our own, dedicated race team with the focus of, getting more women out there and just having a little bit more support for women. The approach I take is I pretty much just want my team to show up and race, not stress them out with a lot of volunteer stuff and all the other things that come along with like being a part of a club. So, I pretty much do all the other stuff. They just have to show up and race. obviously, and do what I say as well. That's the hard part right there. Not for our girls. Our girls are great, but that's the hard part with, recruiting riders and getting a team together is, people want to be on a team, but they kind of want to do whatever they want. And, that defeats the whole purpose of having a team. So there it goes again. I think that's Holly driving up the right side again. I think this time she does get a little separation. I don't think someone was immediately on her wheel. So she gets a little separation here, and I think she gets a nice little 5 or so second gap off the front. I can't remember how long it lasts. But yeah, anyway, we have a decent team and a bunch of strong riders on our team now. And, people came up to me during the race, and not only today, just for the last couple of weeks, and especially since we won the first CBR. And it's kind of funny because, it's awesome. It's awesome that we're gaining some momentum and we have a good squad and stuff like that. But sometimes people just think like, oh, you're like, everything should be perfect now, And I don't mean our team. I mean, supporters and fans and stuff like that. People, other racers, So even in this race, some people were kind of saying like, oh, are you guys doing this? You should have been doing that, And I'm like, hey, we're going to get a lot of stuff wrong, It's my second year having my own team. And, I haven't been managing race teams forever or anything like that. So I'm going to get a lot of stuff wrong. We have really strong girls, but we also have girls that haven't even been racing 5 years yet, And in Elisa's case, she hasn't even been racing 1 year. Just exactly 1 year. Last week was her 1 year anniversary of racing, So as strong as she is, she's going to get some things wrong. We're all going to get some things wrong. And there's nothing wrong with that, I'm looking forward to how we progress through the year. And I think we're going to have a really good season. I don't really care about the results necessarily. I think we're just going to be able to grow and keep moving towards our goals as a team. So again, it's hot again. Another little acceleration. We got both Elisa and Morgan covering it this time. I think since Elisa takes it, Morgan backs off a little bit. I can't see who that is off the very front now. Good job by the rider in black there. I don't know her name, but it's something subtle and it should be expected, especially at this level. But, she was really tight to the curb and, she knew she had to hug it. She knew she had to keep her turn really tight, not come across and, either run into Holly or come across anyone else. And I know that should be common sense or common knowledge, but if you've seen any of my videos, it's not in a lot of racing. It's just something that I point out sometime, and some people get offended over it, and they think because I, point out something to someone that means I think I'm perfect or whatever. Not the case whatsoever. I'm an average racer at best. I'm a much better coach than I am a racer, and that's just part of my personality and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, she did a really good job of just, spatial awareness and knowing that she had to cut the turn tight, which again, like I said, is not a big deal. It should be common knowledge. I think Alexa has too many bracelets on right there. That can't be that arrow. It's holding her down, like it's too much weight on her left wrist right there. And I'm just saying that because her dog tried to bite me at the race, so I got to get her back somehow. Yeah, the speed's up again. It's definitely getting hot. It's a good job by Elisa just surfing wheels to make her way up to the front or near the front. I think Jade's been tucked in pretty well as this race also. And everybody's kind of suffering. You know, talking to people just after the race and stuff like that. A lot of people are, you know, I told them, you know, at this level, if there's not a point in the race where you feel like quitting, it probably wasn't hard enough, you know. So you see Elisa's camera starting to drop already, just has really low view. So yeah, I think Elisa's camera may be done. It drops and it just basically shows her front wheel for a long time. So I don't know if I'm gonna switch back to her camera or not. Yeah, just don't want to show everyone's feet. So I think Marlena may shoot to the front again here. There goes someone trying to make a move off the right. Actually, there's someone already way up the road there. I'm not sure if that's still Holly off the front. It probably is, if I remember correctly, about this point of the race. I think it's still Holly off the front at this point. And there's Elisa there to the right. You know, I've been showing her camera, so this, I think, might be the first time she's actually on camera or in view of the camera. I think Marlena follows the mommies up here. I think they're still chasing Holly, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are still chasing Holly. I was on the side. I actually told her, help the mommies bring it back. Same thing when Kendall was off. I was like, hey, get with the mommies and bring it back. But, you know, depending on what time of the race it was, I think Kendall ends up launching like a perfect counter in a second. So yeah, they're still chasing Holly now, and they got the speed up pretty high, so they're making up some ground on her. She just turned turn 2 right now. Just saw the tail end of her bike. Unless I'm hallucinating. Oh no, I see her up there by the trees and kind of on the right side on the tree line. So yeah, whoever this is on the front's putting in a very hard effort. Really good dig. I think it would be better. Yeah, I think it would be better to rotate a little bit faster. You definitely, if your teammate's chasing, you definitely don't want to just burn them out. You know what I mean? You want to rotate a little bit faster, save their energy instead of just completely burning them out to where they're not able to be used later in the race. Not to mention, you don't want the speed to bog down, so it's better to rotate just a little bit faster. I mean, you know, obviously it's up to you when you're chasing to do what you want to do. But, yeah, just my philosophy is rotate a little bit faster instead of just burning one rider out. So, yeah, here's the critical point in the race. They finally, I think that's Feline that comes through, and they finally run down Holly. And then lightning bolt strikes right here. You see how much speed Kendall had coming through. So nobody's on her wheel immediately. Camilla, Jade, and the young lady with the scratch kit tries to follow, and the gap just opens. I think the The young lady with the scratch gets onto Kendall's wheel, and the gap just opens. Camilla wasn't able to close it, probably because they were all just chasing Holly. So, like I said, it's just perfect timing. And the launch came with speed. I mean, the counter came with speed. And then you see Laurel come up and be the teammate she's supposed to be. And you kind of run a little bit of interference and make sure no one gets to organize a chase group here. You want that gap to open. Excuse me. You want that gap to open. So, get your teammate or allow your teammate to get as much separation as possible without a strong group chasing. So if anyone tries to chase, obviously Laurel's going to try to jump second wheel. So Marlena comes through. There was only about there's like an 8-second lead or something right now, maybe 5, 6, 8 seconds. So Marlena comes through with a hard effort here, trying to do her part. And again, Laurel's being her team, being a good teammate. So she's going to try to not let someone else rotate through after this rider. You know what I mean? And that's what you do. So people chasing has to do like this. Like Morgan goes around, and you can see there's Laurel again, third wheel. So she's going to continue to try to disrupt the rotation. And that's just how you do it. It's the same thing that we did a couple weeks ago at CBR. It's the same thing the mommies do and everyone else. It's nothing new. But it's very important, and it's critical when it happens that you have to get around immediately, and it has to be multiple people willing to participate immediately, because you get someone as strong as Kendall, and once that gap goes to 10, 15, 20 seconds, I mean, it's pretty much lights out at that point. It's really, really hard to coordinate and run it down, and especially with someone as strong as Laurel running interference. But honestly, there's enough people in the race and enough experienced people in the race where it could have been coordinated a little bit better. But either way it goes, hats off to Kendall and Legion, and the timing was perfect. Like I said, Holly had a really good breakaway attempt that took a lot of effort for people to run it down. Everyone's tired. Kendall got a great launch with, she came through with a lot of speed, made it hard for Camilla and Jade to kind of, attach to the wheel. And then, there's a gap. And Marlena had just tried to help with the mommies to catch Holly. So even though she was kind of cracked a little bit at the time, she put in an effort. Morgan went around, and then Laurel was there, running interference. So job well done. That's just how you do it. And you can see now, just by everyone's body language, like, people are, in theory, you're thinking you're going to try to run it down, but they're not. You can see by body language, it's like the white flag has been waved for the most part. And it's just because people are tired. Like we're 40 minutes, 44 minutes into the race, 43 minutes into the race, that's had a number of attacks and a decent pace. So, yeah, it's just, like I said, great attack. I mean, great counter, great teamwork from Laurel. And, it brings people's spirits down when you start chasing and it's just one-off efforts. And then, one person not attacks, but tries to chase, and they turn around and either someone else doesn't pull through, or the peloton's sitting up, or they turn around and it's Laurel there. So, yeah, it just kind of demoralizes people, and then the steam kind of comes out of those attacks, and then everyone realizes, hey, we're racing for third. So yeah, here you see like the speed's getting a little bit high again. But if you look up the road, like Kendall and the other young lady, they're not in sight whatsoever. They have like much more than a 10 second gap now. You can see one of the mommies putting in a strong dig, but then you see Lori's on her wheel. So Lori's being a great teammate also. So it's like, hey, disrupt this chase effort, you know? I mean, that's just what you do. You kind of always want to have someone's second or third wheel to kind of run interference. And when it's this late in the race, um, I was yelling. I don't know if I'm still yelling now. It just depends on how many laps are go. But I know earlier, like I was telling a couple of the girls that we had dedicated to kind of chase and monitor things at the front. I was like, hey, team up with the mommies. But I can't tell them a paragraph, as they pass at 30 miles per hour. I can't yell a paragraph. There's no radios or anything. So that's just kind of something, people have to do on their own is got to stick a hand out sometime and hope somebody shakes it and just, make a little pack and say, hey, dedicate two of your girls, we'll dedicate two of ours, try to chase it. And that's just like, honestly, it's just a choice that people make. I don't think there's necessarily a right or wrong. I know some other people do, but, you know, the decisions we make it's a game time decision. It's like on the fly, like who you want to dedicate to chasing, or if you want to dedicate to chasing. Um, if you do, you take that chance of not having any energy at the end and kind of do all the effort for someone else to win. And if you don't, you're already battling for third. So, yeah, it's just a choice that you got to make, and it's a hard one. It's not always easy. Yeah, this field really loves hugging like the insides of the turns. Can carry a little bit more speed if you take them slightly wider. Not like anyone cares what I say, I'm just saying. But yeah, definitely with the field this side, you can definitely carry a lot of speed. So yeah, here's what I'm talking about. Like you see another surge is going now. And yeah, the surges are short lived. That steady effort is a lot more consistent and makes up lot more ground than someone giving a 10 or 15-second effort and then it slows down, then another 15-second effort. You'll make up a lot more ground with like more of a steady rotation. But honestly, I think like I said earlier, I think it was just really good timing, really good move. A couple of our girls and the mommies had been doing a lot of work for like those middle laps, and we're the two groups with teams in there. You had Marlena doing a lot of work. One of our girls were already off the back, so we had Marlena doing a lot of work with the mommies. Two or three of the mommies that were rotating off the front, and when Kendall launches, then it's like, a lot of the girls are fatigued now. They had a lot of fatigue. I'm saying at that moment, not necessarily now, but at that moment they had a lot of fatigue. But now the gap in just a couple laps went to like 30 or 40 seconds, and that's almost like half a lap. So you're definitely not catching it with, less than 10 laps to go, and they're 40 seconds ahead. Yeah, and I'm not even sure what lap times the ladies are doing here. In my race earlier in the day, I want to say we averaged just under 27 miles per hour. And I think my fastest lap of the day was 140, 141, something like that. It was like just about a 30 mile per hour average. So yeah, I'm guessing there's about roughly 8, 9 laps to go or so. Yeah, so there's still some effort being given up there. I do think it's too late, too little, too late. Um, yeah, just with Kendall's ability, yeah, I don't think the Peloton's gonna go that many more seconds faster than her to be able to bring this gap back with the amount of laps left in it. It's basically something that had to be kind of monitored, not monitored, but I can't, just the words are escaping me right now, but it's had to be something that had to be kept on a short leash from the beginning, either bridged from the beginning or ran down from the beginning or kept on a really short leash. But once you get to like, you know, 30, 40, 50 seconds, yeah, it's not possible. I shouldn't say it's not possible. It's highly unlikely that anybody is going to bring it back. So yeah, that speed we're up for a little bit, and as you can see here, there's a lull again, kind of down to 21 miles per hour. But yeah, now this late, and you got 5, 6 laps to go or something. Yeah, maybe less than 5 laps to go, and the announcer's spitting out, the time gap, 50 seconds. You're like, okay, we're gonna go 10 seconds a lap faster in 5 laps? Yeah, probably not. Yeah, and I could say girls are still trying at the front. Um, like I said, when you hear people talk on the sideline and they're saying what people should be doing, you don't know what's in people's legs at this point in the race. You don't know what's in their lungs at this point in the race. Um, people are saying, oh, they should be chasing and they should be trying and different things. But yeah, way easier said than done. Marlena's trying to get back up to the front here. It's a pretty good effort by her, but like I said, at the same time, it's way too little too late. Yeah, but it's definitely a fun race. Definitely fun to see just how many girls were in this race and in the 4-5 race. I think the 4-5 had almost like 40 or 50 people in it. Um, yeah, they combined it with the 13 to 18-year-olds. So yeah, mommies are back on the front too, trying to set the pace. Marlena came through as well. So like I said, it's not that people are giving up. People are still trying to ride, but like I said, legs are shot out now. It's been a hard race, and there's been a bunch of hard, some punchy attacks and stuff. So yeah, the legs are pretty much shot out. It's only a few laps left. So I'm pretty sure everybody knows it's going to be like a bunch sprint for the Peloton now. But yeah, I think we had a good showing in this race. You know, we did some good things, did some things that we can improve on. But overall, definitely proud of the team, and we have a solid squad, and it's going to be good to just see how we do this year and how we progress. So the wind's definitely out of the sail now, and everybody's just kind of waiting for the bunch sprint now. I do this all the time, but I'll try to see if I can spot the lap counter when we come back through. I can never see it. There's Felicia in front of Marlena there. I haven't said her name too much, not because she hasn't been doing anything, but just the camera angles. I only have one. The other camera, like I said, is pointed at the ground right now, so we just lost that footage. Basically, wasn't able to use it in this race or for this race. So yeah, I think we're gonna have 2 laps to go here, going into 2 to go. Yep, 2 to go. I was actually able to see the lap counter that time. So yeah, with 2 to go, I think we have some of the riders in pretty good position right there, but it's slow. The pace is slow, so they kind of get swarmed here and get shuffled back a little bit. Marlena's trying to go to the front if she can to just kind of pick it up a little bit, but yeah, definitely need to be up a little bit further sooner. But still, this is still a long lap. You know, they're 2-minute laps just about. Probably a minute 50 something, but this will be, once they go back past the start finish, this is going to be going into the last lap. I'm like stuttering. So yeah, we got our girls lined up here, but they're just definitely way too far back right now. Last lap always gets a little hot, always gets a little chaotic. Definitely hard to move up. think the mommies are there in pretty good position right now for the last lap. They got a couple girls on the front, a couple girls sitting, 7th, 8th wheel. Both the LABA girls are in like great position right here to try to win this bunch sprint, sitting 3rd and 4th with Alexa and Camilla. So I'm going to switch over to Elisa's camera here for this last lap. Yeah, Marlena tries to get back up to the front, but she's on the outside here. The effort's kind of hard too as well, but I think she's just tapped out. I think she's just tapped out from all those efforts she was putting in, a few laps ago. So she just has nothing left to kind of get up there. So I'm going to roll it back and look from Elisa's angle, even though it's pointed down to the ground here. This is going into turn 2, and you can see Elisa's trying to make up some spots. She's trying to lead out Morgan. And, yeah, that door is definitely going to close, rightfully so. So that shuffles her back a good another 5-6 spots here. And, yeah, we just kind of start too far back. You can see how congested it is, how chaotic it is. Everyone's kind of doing the same thing. You see Marlena on the left there who's trying to get up there but just has nothing left in her legs. And Elisa's just kind of boxed in, maybe could shoot up a little bit now, but nope, that door is closed as well. So I think she's going to have to transition from this side to try to get to the outside. Just there's way too many bikes in there, way too many bodies. So at least she gets out, accelerates a little bit. I can't see who that is in front of her that launched from there, but that's pretty good launch there. Goes wide around the outside. Like I said, you could run it really wide here. And technically on this side, you're protected from the wind a little bit. So she just accelerates and launches Morgan. Morgan has a pretty good sprint here and makes up some ground, but we're just way too far back. I think Morgan crosses for like 9th place, 7th in the bunch sprint. So anyway, sorry for the long, boring video. I just had to get it out, and I didn't have time to check the sound. So hopefully I'll have one of the girls with me or have the girls do the voiceover in the future. But thanks for watching. Bye.